there seems to be a lot of backlash for bioware because the Veilguard seems to be not doing well. According to the sources, the pre-orders are low, but there's been some new details on EA's investor call, I think. The Veilguard is actually on track with the expectations of the sales. So I don't know if that's just PR or if it's just like a positive thing for the Veilguard. I hope it does well so we can see Mass Effect, because if the Veilguard doesn't do well, we're not gonna see Mass Effect, and we have to discuss some stuff. So that's why I'm making this video, so we can discuss all the stuff that BioWare actually released, some discussion about Mass Effect in general, that I want to say some of my thoughts and what this means for Mass Effect. The game seems to be taking a lot of hate because it's very cartoony, and I have to agree with people on that. I don't like it. It looks like a different game. It looks very cartoony, it looks very mobile. I hope it doesn't go to Mass Effect. Like, these people are going to work on the next Mass Effect. From what I've seen, the in-game footage we've seen on N7, it was in-engine, I think. It was looking good. It was looking like, it reminded me of when Andromeda actually looked very good before we've seen that downgrade. Could have been better. Andromeda could have been better in the graphics department. But I have to say this, that Andromeda actually looks way better than the Veilguard. The Veilguard doesn't have anything on the face. The body proportions are way too off. The head is too big. And then we have the Darkspawn. If you look at how they were in Origins and then comparing them to how they are now, the design is actually really bad. They don't give that scary vibe.
What's that? What's that, brother?
The characters, I think they're okay, I guess. But unfortunately, people are gonna be so negative with the game. And I consider like everything that's releasing, it's getting a lot of hate. Like, the character creator is the most inclusive thing, right? It's very nice what they said, but you cannot actually do anything for your body. Like, you cannot adjust the female body the way you want it to be. But we know who the director is, and we can see that translating into the game and her preferences, let's say. But to me, this discussion right now that I'm doing, that's my main problem with BioWare. Like, they had Andromeda, they had this game, and they completely abandoned it for Anthem, because Anthem was going to be their next Destiny clone, and it was so good that it was like, it will sell millions. They thought actually that this game will sell millions of dollars. They were gonna like continue this game for 10 years. And I was so mad because the hate Andromeda had, like, okay, it was understandable to a degree, like the facial expressions were not good. I actually enjoyed the game. I'm not gonna lie. I actually enjoyed the game. And I thought it had many more to offer after the ending. Like, for example, Quarian Arc. Where is that DLC that we were supposed to have, like, after the game? BioWare just sent a blog post to the people, like, they were like, an update for us. And that update was like, oh, we're leaving this game and we're going to our next game, which is gonna be so good that you're all gonna forget about Andromeda. And what happened with Anthem? Anthem was worse in sales than Andromeda. Andromeda actually had better sales than Anthem. And the people that supported Andromeda were mad because they gave them $70, $90. They pre-ordered some of them. Like, it was so bad. People need to trust this company. You need to put them like, you need to make them trust you. I mean, CD Projekt Red had a way worse launch. It was bad. It had glitches. The graphics were so bad that this game was unplayable. And they actually said that we are going to fix the game. And they did. They actually fixed the game. And I don't know about the Veilguard because BioWare doesn't have a good track record. They abandoned Andromeda for Anthem. How am I supposed to support them? And then people were actually really mad about Andromeda. They hated Andromeda, but we're like, why they didn't say, hey guys, like, we made some mistakes with the game. They actually needed a lot more time than what they've been given. Like, it's been 5 years, but they were actually spending 3 years on concept for a No Man's Sky game, I remember. It was like a procedurally generated thing. The game was on Unreal Engine. It was then switched to Frostbite. After that, we had the problems that occurred on the game because it looked really good in Unreal Engine. Anthem looked also good, but if a studio wants to do online games, it needs to be like after you support your single-player games or actually have another team to do it. For me, BioWare needs to do single-player games. Single-player games are good. EA just saw this, that all these single-player games were doing good. God of War, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order hit 10 million. And they saw this and they were like, okay, now you can do this on your projects. You can go single-player. And Dragon Age Veilguard actually switched to an MMO type of game. And then going to the online elements became single-player elements. So they didn't have any story, I suppose. So the game needed to be made from scratch. And then we had this product we have now. We changed many directors. I think it was like Mark Dara actually left along with Casey Hudson. And then we had another director that left, and this is the third one, Corinne Bush. I don't know, it's just every game that BioWare released, actually the graphics were not bad. They looked nice. We had some downgrades, but you could see like they had details on their faces, and here we don't have that detail. The textures are way too smooth, for me at least. And veteran people have left BioWare, had many layoffs, and this is like worrisome to some. But I won't say that the people that left and worked like for more than 20 years on this studio, it will have been different because these people actually worked on the Veilguard before like getting laid off. It's not about a veteran team or a new team. You can actually have a veteran team and fail. Like all the Anthem developers were a veteran team. They had Casey Hudson on the helm. And how that turned out? Not good. So here we have a new team along with some veterans. And Mass Effect is also the same. Like we have a veteran team along with some new people. And we have some good, very good people in there. I mean, Mary DeMarle is going to be who wrote Deus Ex and Guardians of the Galaxy. She is good. That doesn't mean that the game is going to be a hit if these people are in it. You need to actually know what the people want. And what the people want with all these games from BioWare are some good quality games or actually a good support for their games. Like, I'll say that over and over again. If Andromeda had the support of Cyberpunk, people that, not all of them, but some people that hated it, if you polished this game, if you actually added something into the game that made it way better than before, with patches and everything, and the DLC, it will have been in a better place. It will have made more people come into it, and I think it wouldn't be judged so harshly. I think some people will have turned like and saying, oh, this actually looks better now than before. Of course, there are going to be negative people that are going to say this game sucks anyways, but I always hope that if you support the game, then people are gonna have trust in you. To be honest, I don't have trust in bioware myself for the next Mass Effect, because the next Mass Effect to me has all these theses. I love making these theories, but I don't know, what are all these theories we're making? Like, are they gonna make some sense? There are things that want to give to the people, but to me, most of the time, these theories are always turning out to be nothing, and that's what I'm afraid of for the next Mass Effect. People hate the Veilguard for many reasons. The character creator is also one of them. Reasons like the character creator was bad. Some of these choices don't make sense in a fantasy setting. You add some top surgery scars, doesn't make sense. And all this backlash, all these dislikes, all these trailers, like, BioWare is trying really hard to sell this game to the people and, like, give confidence. Like, the previews were very positive. All of them were positive. I hope, like, and I'm kind of wondering, like, all of them previews are way too positive. Like, they actually enjoyed the game. I won't say that it's gonna be bad. Like, people are gonna judge it, but of course there will be some negative things. Like, they can't be only positive. And some people think that these are PR things. I hope if the Veilguard does well, we will actually have a next Mass Effect. If it doesn't do well, maybe EA is going to be like, oh, let's give them another chance, and we're going to wait for the next Mass Effect to be better. And if it's good, then it's okay. But if it doesn't do good, then it's over for BioWare. The Veilguard, if it doesn't do well on sales, then this game is over. I really hope that BioWare does well. I won't criticize the game for these decisions they made. Yeah, some of them are they really don't make sense. And some of them I really don't like myself. I'm not gonna sugarcoat the game and say, wow, everything looks great, because it's not great. And the next Mass Effect might also not be great. We've been teased with so many stuff, a hint that Shepard might return that I talked in my first video. And actually, I wanted to say that this first video that I'm talking, I thought that Shepard will return, but then I saw Liara and all these tweets and stuff, and I was like, oh, maybe she's older. And this marketing they do though, and people hoping that Shepard will be back, even now they're commenting that Shepard will be back. And that leak, I mean, it was on the BioWare merch store. That was like very, very spoilery. That said that Shepard is going to come back. Shepard and the survivors. I actually gonna say that I don't want a vague tease like, who is that? Where are you gonna play? Like, we've seen Ryder in the teaser, we've seen Liara. They hint, I mean, Shepard, we haven't seen anything of Shepard as of now. We haven't seen anything. I'm saying that, and I'm pretty sure that we haven't seen anything. But if we go by Shepard, and if, like, this character on N7 2023, this might be Shepard. Like, I'm hearing a lot of thoughts, like, this is Shepard, this is like an AI. Shepard, like, his clone. And I get it, because they might come back like that, but it's set like 600 years in the future. They want to connect with and bridge it with, they want to bridge it with Andromeda events, and I don't know if they're gonna go with that. I believe that BioWare is not going to bother at all with Shepard. They're just gonna hand wave every choice you made. They're not gonna make any canon choice canon, like they're doing with Dragon Age, the Veilguard right now. Like, there have been some infos out there that the Veilguard is going to be more of a default, like, only 3 choices from the keep are gonna be there, and people are mad about it. And I get it, because Dragon Age is different. This choice is like going from one game to another. Mass Effect is also like, the choices you've made become fruitless on the next one. You've seen some consequences on the first, but every game you had some consequences. In Andromeda, they had some consequences, but it wasn't like the trilogy. It was like a different tone. It was like the lightweight tone with some like more dark elements there. And I have to say that Andromeda wasn't bad because it didn't make itself the trilogy. It wanted to be its own thing. They didn't try to bring the trilogy stuff into Andromeda. They did a fresh start. The Veilguard also seems like a very different game. It actually gives Andromeda vibes to me. Like, I like Andromeda, but I don't know, here I might like the game, but Dragon Age, for me, Origins is my favorite Dragon Age game, and I loved these characters. I loved their stories. They were very interesting to me. Here, I hope that they actually put these characters have very intriguing backstories and a good writing. Some things I've seen with the writing are like, with Belara, for instance, it was so weird. Like I won't spoil, but the introduction scene with Belara, it was in the beginning kind of weird to me. And they tried to bring Peebee from Andromeda to Dragon Age the Veilguard. She's quirky like her, and I actually like Peebee. Many people hate Peebee, but I loved Peebee myself. But all of the things I'm saying is that we need a good game from BioWare. We need to have trust in this company. As I said, I don't have a trust in BioWare because what they tease with the next Mass Effect, and Michael is very excited for all this game. I don't know, but I want to say to all of you that think that Shepard is going to come back. Shepard is not going to come back. Imagine if they bring Shepard back and people don't have trust in BioWare, right? Like, are they going to write Shepard good? I don't think so. Like, it might be worse. They're gonna compare it with Shepard from the trilogy, and it's going to be like a mess. And I don't think they're actually capable of doing that. Like, it's gonna be a different team, different writers. Maybe they can name everything, but to me, I hope that they don't do anything with Shepard, because this is gonna be the worst thing they could possibly make. It's better to leave a character that was well written like that. But also the same can be said about Ryder, right? Like, Ryder was written with different people. But the difference with Ryder is that the tone and the writing was more unserious than the trilogy. And this is where it comes, Mary DeMortal can do these types of serious versus lighthearted moments. And that's why I think that Ryder is more possible to come back. And then we also have the new protagonist and crew, which was also teased 2 or I think 3 times from Michael and BioWare itself in 2019, saying that we're gonna have new hero. We're gonna the new heroes, and he's like, you're gonna love these characters that you're going to see. I hope you love them. And honestly, that's what scares me the most. They will try to bring a new cast for the next Mass Effect with a new protagonist, of course. And they hope that they're going to appease to the new people, and all the old fans are going to be like, where is Shepard and where is Ryder? Like, you actually want to go with a new cast, with a new story, and expect us to be like, wow, this game is so good, we love them already. Like, it's going to be the worst thing for me. That's my worst, that's the worst possibility. And I think it will happen. It's the most possible thing. We want to see Shepard, people who want Shepard, we absolutely want to see Shepard. I hope I'll be proved wrong, and we see. Shepard, like we have a happy epilogue for Shepard. Like you can actually go with a story for Shepard. Like Shepard was saved, and then you actually have that big happy epilogue that people didn't have. And you play the prologue of the next Mass Effect. Just imagine that. You play the prologue of the next Mass Effect, and you're playing with Shepard, and then you're like having all of your characters, like you close their story and whoever you romance with, and you've made some decisions in the story, and those decisions will carry into the future. And then you don't actually bring a new character into the Milky Way. You can do that. I mean, if they can bring the new character who's going to be like a replacement of Shepard, like they're gonna be like a mix of Shepard, and Liara is going to be like a Varric type of character. She's gonna pick the protagonist. She's going to be like, or the mentor of the protagonist. I don't know. They can do that, but I think that it's going to be like a mix of both Shepard and Ryder. But I won't say that it's going to be bad. Like they can do that, and people will be. I hope they will be happy, but many of them will want to play all the game with Shepard. But for me, they can do this: a happy epilogue, and they go on the next protagonist. Like, but my main hope is that if we play as Shepard, we actually then play as Ryder, because Ryder is an established character. He has a fan base already, like the new character won't have, but they will have like. But like Ryder is they know about Ryder now, and you make a game with Ryder, and then you actually go back to the Milky Way with the way it was implied in the first teaser trailer, and Liara is there to tell you what happened, and this opens up the possibility for new players to learn what happened in the Milky Way, like with Andromeda, with the Reapers. Like you had all of Alex's logs that were hidden, and then you learned the truth about the Reaper War and everything, and it was like for newcomers to learn what happened in the trilogy. And I think they can do that with Ryder, and then they're gonna like ask what happened here, and then Liara is going to tell them what happened, and some of these decisions that Shepard made were gonna shape up the future of the game. You're gonna see that and everything they did. And whoever you played with in Andromeda, actually, whoever you didn't play with in Andromeda is going to be the one that you're gonna play. You've played with male Ryder, and you've explored Andromeda while Sarah was like sleeping. She was in a coma, and then she woke up, and in the next game you reverse that, and Sarah is one and that stays in Andromeda with some of these characters. And then you have Ryder to go back to the Milky Way. They go back to the Milky Way and they see all these like changes that happen. And it's going to bring people like new and old. It's going to be much better than a new protagonist. Like I always think that a new protagonist is not going to be good. It's not Dragon Age. Mass Effect is not Dragon Age. Like you can have a game with its game and you have a new protagonist. They want to do that with Andromeda, but honestly, I want to see like a game like that. These are actually my hopes in a way. I might put them in another video. But for now, yeah, I actually want to say that if they do this with Mass Effect, and if the Veilguard succeeds, so we can see a next Mass Effect, it's always going to be like that. It's going to be, we'll have to wait and see if the next Mass Effect is they're going to be ready to make the game after the Veilguard. And hopefully we can see something good, something positive. I myself want to see something good. I actually want to continue Ryder's story because it's been very open. It's been left very open in Andromeda. Like, we have many questions regarding Ryder's mom, and we have the Jardin and everything. And a new protagonist for me, like, going into these things and solve them. I can see them doing that like they did with Veilguard and play into that and add this, like they did with Solas. Inquisitor was involved with Solas, but now Uruk is going to have to hunt down Solas. You can do that with Inquisitor, but they didn't, and like, I get it, it's Dragon Age, but for me Mass Effect is always like a set of characters, and you see these characters, like you had Shepard in the trilogy, and you see this like big story of Shepard and their companions evolve into each game, and it was nice to see Shepard evolve into a bigger character. And with Ryder, I can say the same because they had one game. The characters also had one game. They were actually more fleshed out than Mass Effect 1. I mean, the crew. But yeah, we need better, like, we need the next one to have. I need and hope, actually hope that we have Ryder in the next one. And people are not going to agree with that, but hear me out. If they do it good, like, they can write the game very good. They can put effort, but people that don't think that bioware can write these people good. These characters are going to be bland and boring for everyone. I'm very, like, worried for the next game. And with all that's happening at bioware right now, with the Veilguard and all this backlash that people hating on the game, people loved it, like, it's a mess. I just want to say my personal opinions on what's happening with the Veilguard. I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be a bad game, we have to play it, but from what you see, the art style and all these changes are kinda like not making the game how the other Dragon Ages are, like, and that applies with the next Mass Effect. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do. I know Michael it's gonna be his first ever project that he's gonna direct, and I hope he does well, but all these teasings and all these stuffs and all these hopes that you're gonna love this game, I don't want to be told this game is gonna be so good that you're gonna love it, and all this PR talk. I actually wanted to see for myself if this game is going to be good. And the teasers are good. They put so much effort into the art, the hidden audios, on the visual parts and everything. And I hope the next Mass Effect has this level of detail. And the Veilguard also had, like, but this teasers is gonna be like way different than the game. Like, these teasers are gonna be like completely unrelated stuff mostly, or maybe some of them are gonna be related to the game, and the tone of the game is going to be completely different. Like with Dragon Age had that mysterious vibe with teasers, and it looked actually more I don't know, mysterious, kind of more darker. And then you have the first reveal trailer, and it was a completely different tone from what we've seen. And I have to admit that this trailer was bad. It didn't make sense for Dragon Age to be like that. That music they chose, the trailer with the characters and everything, like they did it like Guardians of the Galaxy and Borderlands. Like Dragon Age it was a dark fantasy. Now it's more like a high fantasy, but to me, like these dark elements, all these dark elements they think that are going to be in the game are not going to be very, very dark. You're gonna have some people have been killed and some characters, which I hope we have that, but it's going to be mostly like what you've seen from all these teasers. It's gonna be more light on this stuff. And also the same applies to Mass Effect. Whatever BioWare is doing with Dragon Age is also gonna apply the next Mass Effect. These people are going to work on the next game if they're given the chance, if the project does well. And then you're gonna have like a project that actually looks worse. I think that BioWare needs to do this. I think that BioWare needs to succeed. And the Veilguard, we'll have to wait and see about that. And then Mass Effect also needs to be good. I hope that BioWare does well with all this and actually succeeds in doing this game justice. Those are my thoughts. I wanted to speak about them, how the Veilguard and what is going to apply for Mass Effect, how everything is going to go. And I want to reflect my thoughts on this project and into the next one, because if we're gonna have Shepard, but we're not gonna have Shepard, and if we're gonna have Ryder, but most probably we're gonna have that new protagonist and crew that they're gonna sell us. And I think just BioWare is going to be different because different people are working on these games. But I want to see a good game, an actually good game, and not abandon what they've built with Andromeda. Like all these people that supported this game needs to have a conclusion to this story, to these characters. And I hope the next one gives it to them. But I'm kinda like, I have low expectations for this. And yeah, like, so tell me what you think about everything I talked about. Do you agree that the Veilguard looks not so good? Do you think that BioWare can do well with the Veilguard? And if it succeeds, or if EA is going to have low expectations for them for the sales, like, are they going to have low expectations for the sales and actually do well? And what about the next Mass Effect? Like, do you agree with everything? I will continue to do these theories. I will continue to provide these theories to you guys because I like doing them, and I'm not gonna stop. I have more planned out for all we've seen. I'm actually working on the next video for the teaser poster we've seen back on the 7th day 2023. And yeah, tell me your thoughts about Veilguard, Mass Effect, and everything related to BioWare, how you feel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!